Hi everybody, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So tonight I am going to do, it's kind of a metallic pour. It's going to be like a dirty ring pour. I'm not sure exactly what results I'm going to get. This is me having fun. Sometimes I just need to have a fun night where I just paint something that I'm not really too sure what's going to happen and hope for the best. So this is Marte Black, and it is 66 grams paint, 132 grams floetrol, but I've added water to it as well. I don't know if I can get the consistency to show you, but it leaves a little bit of a mound, but it doesn't stay very long. So it's thinnish. It's probably very similar to my pearl pour. I don't have the measurements of how much water I added into it, but it's virtually the same consistency as a pearl pour. And so are my other paints. So I am using decoart Americana decor metallics in garnet and soft gold. I can't find, well, I'm having trouble getting hold of this in 24K gold. So I've got soft gold and I've got garnet. So I want gold and red to kind of come through and hopefully even mix a little bit. And they should look really nice with the black. So, ultimately, what I need to do is get my cup, my extra pouring cup, and pour in about a third, maybe a little bit more. Oops, that's all right. It's probably about a third there. So, now that I've got this, I want to get the gold. And I'm just going to pour this down from a height, mostly down one side. Try and get most of it to smash into it, because you actually want it to get close to the bottom of the cup. That's what's going to give you more of the pearls or effects that come up. Then I'm going to get the garnet and I'm going to pour it straight on top of where that gold was, because I actually want these colours to mix a little, but they'll also stay a bit separate too. So high up and smash that down into that gold. It's funny, I was actually expecting the garnet to be more of a brighter red, but it's actually quite a brick red in a way. I'm not even really a brick red, it's a little bit different colouring to what I remember it being, but that could just be my my memory, which seems to fail me at times. So now I'm going to put that aside. That there will sell up a little bit, because that's what it does. Now, this is my black. I want this to be on the canvas. There we go. Now, I'm going to spread it around. I mostly want the corners covered. I might cover all four sides. Now, I was trying to actually find a 12 by 16 canvas, but I have put them in the spare room. And then I've brought other stuff and I can't get to them for the moment. So I'm using a 14 by 14 inch. These canvases just... they can upset me a little bit, because occasionally, and it's only on every so often, it feels like it's got a little bit of an oil on it. So what happens is the paint starts to come off it like beads a little bit, like it's got some silicone oil or something there. It's probably just from the manufacturing process, but it doesn't happen on all of them, but it happens on a couple and I don't like it. So usually these ones I will save for a different type of pour. or I will try and coat it first. This looks like it's actually doing semi-okay. Oops. So sometimes it's just easier to coat all corners because the paint is a little bit thinner because you add water to it, and you don't want it to not stick to the edges as well as you would like. You kind of want it to be solid all over. So now I'm just spreading this out. Oops, without pushing it all the way off the edge. And then what happens is, once I cover my canvas, depending on what canvas you're using, better grab some of that that's running off the edge. What I will actually do is I'll go back to the corners, because sometimes once the paint's on there they separate a little bit on the corner. There's a lot of paint here. I may not have had so much. So just double checking my corners. There we go. Is that even? Make this evenish. As always, I don't try to over perfect everything. I think sometimes you make more errors. They might be bubbles. I might torch this a little bit. Just going to clean off my palette knife because I like keeping my tools as clean as possible. Nice and clean. Easier to do it while it's wet. If you wait till it's dry, you're going to just cause more issues for yourself. And got my blue torch ready. Just going to give it a little quick torch. And what fell in there? A little bit of dust. Doesn't matter how many times I vacuum, I keep finding dust appear. Move them out of my way. So I got this cool little staple gun. Just a nice little staple gun. So if I find any of my canvases need just an extra couple of staples on the back, it's handy, it's small, and I can just staple an extra nail or two. Oh, I think it's, what do they call it? Staple. A staple or two into the back, just to hold it together a little bit better. Depending, sometimes when I pull out the little wood chips that stretcher bars, sometimes I find it just irritates the pin a little bit, so I just staple them back in. Okay, so I'm getting reactions in here. I'm going to pinch the cup. Now, there may be some dirty pour and some straight pour, depending on how much comes out. So you want to pour it from a high tip first, but I want to go in a ring. only come closer because it looked like it was going to be a little bit funny there. And now I'm just going to go into a straight pour, just to get out the rest of the paint. Whatever comes out at this end part in form of metallics in this straight pour part will not make pearls. It will just kind of sit on top always. So if you want to make a little pattern with it, you can. But that is the part you're going to have to watch. Alright, that's enough. Yep, no drip. Cool. Okay, now, where is my blowtorch? Giving it a little blowtorch because this was a dirty pour. So there is going to be tons and tons of bubbles. You just want to get them out while you can. You can even see more coming out in the black I've already torched. So as always, more usually appear because more will be underneath as they come to the surface. Okay, so we're just leaving that there for a second to settle in. While I grab my gloves, which I have moved right underneath my table. So you can see pearls kind of popping up already. Some garnet, some the soft gold. The soft gold doesn't have that yellowy colour that you get with the 24K gold, which is kind of very vibrant. It's still nice, but it's a more subtle. Now, I'm just doing my pour in this lid, but half my paint won't actually fit because I know it won't. So I'm just going to move the paint around. I'm not going to be overly aggressive with moving the paint just yet. Just want it to glide a bit, cover the surface. It's kind of good that I've got a fair bit of base paint on because it's holding the paint there. Now that this colour touched the side, that's stuck there. So I'm gonna probably have to go over an edge soon. So I might start off with this corner and get in there quite slowly. And then as it looks like it's going to tip over an edge, I'm going to go a little bit quicker. Get it to go over, come back. Bringing it back down into the middle. And now slowly going to this side. You don't want to go too crazy about it. Bringing it down. It's getting close. Okay, over the edge. Well, come back. I didn't get that very corner, so just put a little bit of paint there. Now bringing the weight of the paint back to the center. And I'm going to go up and over this way now. Slow as I go. Over and come back. And now I've got one more corner to actually pour over and then I can tilt a little bit more and adjust my artwork to what I feel I like. Coming down. Over and back. I didn't want all of those pearls or cells that had already come up to go over. Now I'm going to move it around a little bit, see if I can cause a few more reactions and things to come up. Just watch your whole artwork to see whether you're overstretching or understretching anything. If you need to stop. And if you want a certain corner you don't like, now is the time to tilt it off again and alter your picture. Because the more I move this around, hopefully I'll get more cells or pearls to form. Just don't over squash them and then overstretch them again. They're a little bit squashed, but then I'm going to come back, because if you overdo it, then it's hard to kind of fix. And I'm going to come up this way now, changing the shape a bit. And then come back down. Coming down to this lower end. Coming back up. Going back this way again. Just going to move it around a little bit just to see if I get more reactions. More will come up in time too, so keep that in mind. Now back. I'm going to go that way. And then I'm going to spin it around a little bit. It's going to alter my pattern slightly. So this is the part where you do what you want. You create different effects to how you like. Trying to, so that part there was the part that sat on top. Just trying to change its shape slightly, but every time I do that, I'm going to change the shape of everything else around it too. So keep that in mind. Just if I can swirl him a little bit, or it a little bit. Okay. I'm going to have to leave it as that, because the more I'm doing it, the more I'm going to change everything else. See, I started stretching that out by swirling, and I don't want to stretch that anymore. So now I've done with tilting. Take my gloves off. And now have a quick little look from an angle and just seeing if there's any bumps. Doesn't seem to be any. And check that you've covered all 4 sides of your artwork. Yes, I have. So now I am going to torch again. One, I can see bubbles, and two, it's going to create some more effects as those bubbles pop. You guys might not be able to see the bubbles popping, but I can. Excellent. So one, you create bubbles, you pop the bubbles, and sometimes it creates a few more little cells come up too, or pearls. I'm going to get my palette knife and scrape all the way around the canvas. Stop any more of that dripping, because I don't want it to pull my painting, my artwork, and change its pattern. Okay, move these cups out of the way. Excellent. So, this has done what I wanted it to do so far. I got the gold and the garnet to mix. Not overly heavy, but they've mixed enough that there's, like, some of them are like two-toned. You can see them in there. Now what I have to do is, I just have to wait. I'm going to give this about 10, maybe 15 minutes and see what else is going to turn up. Some of these may just enlarge in their size. New ones may pop up in some of these areas. Or not much at all might happen, but if I stop the camera now, it may actually change before, it may change, and then my photo later on will be different to what you actually see in the video. So I like to leave it a little bit and see what actually happens. So I'm just going to hit the pause button and we'll be back soon. Okay, we're back. So I've let it sit for about 10 minutes, maybe 15. And I think more has actually developed along here. Hasn't changed a lot, but that's fine. So I'm quite happy with the mixture of colours. Nearly all of the pearls or cells that have come up are all two-toned. Like the garnet's on one side with the soft gold on the other. So it's kind of given it that kind of two-toned effect. And when I swirled it, these ones that were facing the other way have kind of gone the other way. So it's given them a good, the gold and the red are the opposite way to what they are on this side. Heavier gold over here and probably heavier garnet on this side here. This is the center part that sits on top. As you can see, that doesn't really change very much, always stays as it is. And this side's a little bit more subtle, but that's okay because you don't have to have heavy cells or pearls over the whole artwork. It's good to sometimes have stuff that is a little bit more different and looks a little bit more different to how everything else looks. That's the fun about it. So I'm going to pause the camera and bring you down for a close-up. So here we go. Trying to get the colours right. It's probably about right there. Maybe a little bit more brighter in real life. Let's come down. Yeah, that looks a bit more better. As you can see, it's shimmery all over. So all this metallic is quite shiny. The garnet doesn't show it unless you're on the right angle. But the rose gold, the soft gold kind of shows it all over. As you can see, lots of pearls, cells. I'm not really sure what you call them in this type of pour. I call them effects. But they look really cool. Kind of like coloured pebbles sitting on top of an artwork. See how this side's a little bit more subtle, but the metallic's all there. they just haven't come up in pearl form. Then down here, lots of big bold ones. The center part that kind of sits on top. Got to be careful with the shape of that sometimes and alter it if you can. But overall, I am really pleased with this. It's when I move the camera up high, it actually gets a little bit dark. But if I move my light too close, it ends up putting light reflections all over it. So I can't always do it. But as I get closer, you can see that the colours come up. So there is effects all the way through it. But yeah, so this is it was part ring pour, dirty pour with metallics. Metallics that create pearls. And I think it's turned out pretty good. So let me know what you think. Comment and like, share it if you enjoy this and you want others to see it, and subscribe if you have not already. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and it helps support me and my channel. And yeah, hope you guys like this, and I will bring me back for another pour probably in a day or so. I finish work late tomorrow, so I might not be able to do one tomorrow, but I'll do one very soon. Have a great night, everyone. See you soon.